Work has been crazy, and we had a lot of rain here earlier on, so I think people got a lot of cars to work this morning, and for that reason, the road was pretty busy on the way home. So apologies for my my late start, but starting we are, and we're going to continue with some Italians. I had a different video in mind today. Hello, Gruesome. I did have a different video in mind. I was going to do some building. I was going to build some chasseurs à cheval, but I don't know where the horses are. So I clearly have done the horses or got the horses somewhere. So I may end up having to buy. Hello, Paul. Hello, Zhukov. I might have to buy some more horses or just find the ones that I've already got. They're clearly somewhere. I won't have thrown them away. So, yeah, it's just a little bit frustrating, though. Oh, hang on. That's not what I want to do. I'm just trying to get the old... I am trying to get... Sorry, the stream up on my laptop. Hello, Glenn. Hello, Dan. Yeah, so... yeah, I don't know what's happened with those chasseur horses. Hopefully I've already painted them. That'd be nice. That would be a really nice surprise to find that they're already all done. So, no, it's late, I'm afraid, David. The traffic coming home from work was horrific. I've barely had time to pause and make a cup of coffee, although I have. Absolutely no one wants to hear me without a coffee. That's for faux shizzle. Right, what I was going to look at today actually was something a little bit different. Chasseur Camel, yeah, absolutely. Maybe the gods are telling me that's what I need. So what I was going to do today is I was going to look at some different kinds of painting white. That was the plan. I may postpone that for next week though, because I've got some epic scale Austrians that I was going to demonstrate on. And I don't have them up here with me because, as I say, I was in a bit of a rush to get up. So what I'm going to do is we've got these Italians here. You can see this one's Hattie's Apothecary White Bath. He's going to need some touching up. I think there's quite a few that are. So I think I'm just going to crack on with that today. Now, I should probably use a slightly off white when doing the uniforms. And this is a thing that I may end up doing. So I've got my Wraithbone here. That's a little bit too off white. But what I think I will do is I will make a little bit of a mix. In fact, I won't for this unit. I might in the future. But these guys, I'm just going to keep as they are. I know General Dan, he has a particularly impressive recipe for his white, for his Austrians. But for me, I think I'm just going to stick with painting the white guys white at the moment. Now, I'm just looking around. I was hoping that I'd brought a dry brush up with me. So... let me look around and see if I've got one. You can see this guy, his foot didn't print properly, or it came off on the supports, one or the other. So he'll be all right at the back there. No one's going to notice that. Oh, come here. All right. I've got myself a dry brush. So let's crack on. Now, some people say with a dry brush that you need to work all of the paint out on a bit of tissue or something like that. Now, I've also been told not to do that, so I'm not going to do that, because that's the reason why your dry brushing ends up looking chalky, apparently, because it takes all of the moisture out of the paint without necessarily taking the pigment out. So hopefully by dry brushing them this way, I can avoid the chalkiness problem that you often get with dry brushed figures. Now, because people expect dry brush figures to be chalky, if they're not, then people will think that they've not been dry brushed, and that is a bit of a win. So I'm sure that General Dan's just got that on a copy and paste document by now. Although no one's asked about it for a while, actually. Drink your coffee black. It's good cold too. You know, I can't actually drink black coffee. I don't drink tea. For an Englishman, I know that's something of a scandal. In fact, the last time I drank tea in volume was when I was in America. But yeah, I tend not to drink tea very much. I do prefer coffee. However, black coffee gives me. I was going to make a joke there, but I don't want to get demonetized. So black coffee gives me terrible heartburn. So if there's no milk, so say I'm at work and the milk's run out or someone's stolen my milk, which to be fair doesn't happen very often. But yeah, if that's the case, then I have to have tea. I can only drink tea black. Now, I used to, when I lived in Hong Kong, we had black tea there all the time, obviously. So I'm quite used to black tea. But yeah, no, I can't drink black coffee. It gives me terrible, terrible heartburn. That and Domino's pizza. So when you come to Eagles to Glory, you might not see me eating the pizza. I probably will, because who says no to pizza? But yeah, no, that gives me terrible heartburn as well. Which was a real bummer, because during lockdown, our local Domino's kept donating pizzas to the hospital, and I couldn't eat them because they made me ill. So yeah, that was really annoying. He's a secret lemonade drinker. Oh yeah. See, I remember that, man. I remember. A little bit of a Barry White impression. I know it wasn't Barry White, but General Dan was once described as the Napoleonic Barry White by someone on the video, which which I'm still very jealous of, I hasten to add. Now, my internet is being a fink, so I'm having to read the comments direct. So apologies if I miss someone. If I do, just post it again in capitals. Well, that's it. I mean, it's much. Well, see, I don't know. In smaller scales, I tend to use brighter colours. So yeah, I wouldn't, for me personally, I wouldn't necessarily go battle worn in 6mm. In fact, for my Russians, my Cold War Russians, I used like a desert almost. It wasn't quite deserty, but it was certainly paler than the brown that their uniforms was. So luckily, a lot of them are not looking too shabby. I mean, something like that's not too bad. I might still give them a once over anyway, but the vast majority of them are not too bad. Those ones that I started off with, they were by far and away the worst. He's missing a hand. I'm not quite sure what happened there. I'm certain I've got plenty of spare plastic hands lying around that he can have grafted on. Or maybe I'll just give him a hook. Maybe he can be useful for silver bayonet. You found dry brushing using deck tan. All right, okay. Oh no, don't thank Martin. He's too popular as it is with his Wargaming magazine articles about him. I don't know. Nah, I am of course joking. He is almost single-handedly responsible for me getting into Dark Ages. So he has put me at least £300 in the hole for my Viking army, and I'm looking to buy a Saxon army to go with it. I've got a Norman army already, so I don't necessarily need to buy the Saxons. I'm not rushing into that. But yes, so he's absolutely to blame for me buying 5 bags of Victrix Vikings. I can assure you that by the time you've got to your 5th bag, they're not as they're not as multi-posed as you might have thought they were. So he's looking not too bad. I'm not sure he's even been. Well, he has been washed. It's just a bit subtle. Italians are missing enough parts they could be a Paralympian. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, as I say, as I've said many times before, though, don't blame Lucas. Blame me. It's just, to be honest, I've been really struggling with my printer. As you can tell, there's no print on at the moment. I'm looking over at hopefully 3 successfully printed rhinos. There's supposed to be 10 on there. epic scale, not full scale. The Space Marine rhinos as well, I should point out. I'm not doing rhinos for my horseless Chasseur Cheval, or maybe I should. But yeah, I don't know. So I'm still having real problems with it. And this is using new resin. I might need to change the FEP sheet again. I don't know. It's very annoying. I might just buy a new printer at this point. I saw one today in Elegoo Mars. I've been an Anycubic fanboy up until now, but this one really has put me off the whole thing. So I may end up going for Elegoo Mars. I think there's an Ultra one that I've seen is about 300 quid. So I might spring for that one. See if it's in the Black Friday sales or something. But no, this one's been an absolute disaster. I've not been happy with this one at all. The Anycubic 6 X6KS avoid like the plague. He finished Foot Garden doing the 94th. Very nice. That's what we like to see. Yeah, I think, Dan, you've hit on the secret there. If you're doing a like an army project or even like a full unit, I think the key is to mix up a batch, like a big batch that's enough to do them all, so at least they're consistent amongst each other. Now, I know there's the whole 50 Shades of Field Grey debate, and oh yes, everyone's uniform is different and all that stuff. But this is where the difference, I think, when people talk about like the heights of models, well, humans are all different heights. It's like, well, that is true. But if you put a Wargames Foundry guy on a base next to a front rank guy, he looks stupid. He doesn't look like he's a small guy. He just looks daft. And you've wasted two really expensive models there. So I would strongly recommend against doing that. I mean, you'll have like I've had it before where I had like a Grenadier, and the top of his bearskin, I think he was it was Pavlovsky Grenadier, yeah. And the top of his mitre was up to like the chest of the mounted officer, because he was a Foundry one, and the Pavlovsky was, I think he might be a Warlord actually. So yes, that didn't look like he was a short officer and a tall Pavlovsky Grenadier. He looked stupid. Just be aware of that. So that's them all dry brushed. Happy with them. As I say, the vast majority of them didn't need doing. So that's a nice bonus. I did notice, however, there's no good looking now because I just washed the brush, haven't I? I did notice that one of them's flesh hadn't been re-undercoated. So where are we with that one? I'll have a very quick look for him. If I can't see him, he's going to escape for this time around. He's escaped this time around. Fair enough. I can't stay looking forever. So we're going to go on to the next part, and we're going to go on for the... we're going to do the wood of the muskets. Now, I like... Hello, Lucas. Oh, hang on. That's a far too fine a brush, that one. I was just saying, Lucas, that the misprints are not your fault, buddy. They're down to my poor printing skills. I had a similar experience with the Eagle miniatures and Perry's Brunswick. Yeah, Eagle are quite small as well. They're nice models, but they're quite small. One of the benefits of them being quite small is that you can buy them individually. And I was doing the Nottinghamshire Light Infantry, so I didn't want to use the drummers. So I bought some Eagle miniatures, and they're so small that the trumpeters look like boys, which obviously. Now I'm not sure if musicians in light regiments were boys as well, but certainly drummers were. So they're actually quite good for getting like child-size models. There is someone who does a child drummer. Is it the Perrys or Warlord maybe? Who for the French do a child drummer. That's quite nice as well. Just adds a little something to the unit, I think. Now, I really like using Gorgrunter fur for the muskets. It gives them a real polished wood look to them. It looks like they're well, not so much polished, but like waxed, like when you use beeswax on wood. So it's particularly good on like guard regiments and stuff like that. You can use maybe a darker brown on just line regiments, but these are Italians, so I like to think that they've got Giorgio Armani muskets as well. So scale creep is one of the things that irks me about Horus Heresy Second Edition. Yeah, me too, actually, Unsure Historian. Me too. The problem is with that, all of the elite units, the Legion specific units, are still teeny tiny. I've got a Sons of Horus army, and the Reavers are, I mean, they are absolutely, they're small for regular Space Marines. So the new Space Marines are absolutely ginormous. Luckily, I have the files for them, so I've printed them at 105%, and I've got enough to make to make quite a lot of Reavers. So I think I've got about 180 of them. So yeah, no, the scale creep is, and for me, it's just pushed more people towards printing. I mean, I've got Terminators. I've printed at 105%, so they're now significantly bigger than the regular guys. It's only 5%. You know, it's not nothing crazy, but they are much bigger and hulking than the plastic Terminators. And I had an Abaddon, which I printed at 110%. So he's bigger again, and he is absolutely hench. He looks awesome. I'm really pleased with him. He's like Horus Ascended size, which is exactly what I wanted from my my Abaddon. He's actually one of my favourite characters from the Horus Heresy books. Despite everyone, Phaelodon, he's actually a really good character, I think. And it's absolutely bogus that Loken didn't get killed by him. I mean, just yeah, whatever. Did you have the Grenadier and the Dwarf on a pony? Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, it was like Bilbo Baggins sat on the pony. On a similar note, do I know anyone who does the 71st Highland Light Infantry? I don't, I'm afraid. Johan's painting the very same miniatures. That's because you are a man of taste, sir. What about all regiment Chasseurs de Britannique? Yeah, I've been looking at the Chasseurs Britannique. They had the Tarletons, didn't they? I have not got around to doing them yet. The problem is with that is I think I've bought the Tarleton heads to do them actually, but unless you buy them separately, then you have to not give the dragoons the Tarletons, and then you've got dragoons with no Tarletons. So what the hell's the point of having those dragoons? That's the issue. I wish I went for a nice light wood colour for my muskets. I went far darker and it looks way worse. Well, exactly, yeah. I mean, at the end of the day, you've got to, if you've got 200 dudes, then you've got 200 dudes. What you could do is you could use something like a Mornfang Brown, which is which is kind of similar to this, and then just run it along the side of the muskets, where where the barrel slots in, and then your dark wood would form a good shade, a good base coat for that to go over the top. So you could do that. Now the question is, do you want to do that with 200 models? I probably wouldn't, but it's a possibility. So if if you get to the stage where you're like, oh, I really wish that these guys were a different color, you can always just use it as the base coat. Now with this, you can see I'm doing the barrel as well. I'm not interested in separating the barrel and the stock at this point, mainly because because I've undercoated them white, there's a very good chance there's going to be a line where they meet. So I'm not interested in that. I'm just going to paint the whole thing brown. It saves time. I'm not fiddling. I'm not getting around fiddly bits. And when I come to do the metal, I'll just run it along the top. It won't be a problem at all. One thing that I've not mentioned this in a while, it's one of my favorite little Napoleonic factoids. These little loops here that basically hold the barrel in the stock. For the French Guard, they would be brass rather than steel. So that's a nice little extra thing you can do for your guard, just to make them stand out a little bit. And it also helps things like middle guard stand out as well, or any troops that are guard but in shakos. You'd be surprised how much the brass stands out against the metal. You can see it from the sort of 2 feet beautiful thing. You can still see that out there. And I would suggest, I haven't done it yet, but I would suggest even in epic scale or even smaller, that would probably be noticeable as well, because brass is quite a when you put it against steel, it does stand out quite nicely. So just cracking on with these guys, cracking on. We're getting there. Davis is 5% on average man is about 3 inches. Yeah, so if you're 28 mil, 10 mil, 10% of that would be another 2.8 mil. So it's another sort of 2 millimeters on top of the mold. So it's not a huge amount, but you'd be surprised how much difference it makes. I might, if I remember, at some point in the future, I'll show them off. Abaddon reminds you of Rocky. Exactly, yeah. The thing is with Abaddon, he can lose every single time, because he only needs to win once, and then he destroys Cadia. I mean, to be honest, suck it, Cadia. You were losers to start off with. I mean, a bunch of absolute nerds. Krieg has always been where it's at. And then Vostroya is a very close second. Cadia. Goddamn nerds. Oh, yes, my name's Creed. I'm a master tactician. Yeah, well, I'm a Death Corps of Krieg guy, and I've got another 9,000 guys who are going to assault that position. Who needs master tacticians when you've got 9,000 guys, huh? Huh? Yeah, take that, Creed. Hello, Ahmed. Sorry, I just went off on a little bit of a rant there. Order my Austrians for a start. Fantastisch. Actually, yeah, that's kind of Austrian. Looking forward to figuring out the Black Powder system. It's not that complicated. I'm sure you'll enjoy it. It is as I often say to people, play it a couple of times with no supplement, and then add the supplement later. Get the basic taste of rice pudding, and then get your strawberry jam to go with it later. Get used to the texture of the rice pudding. There you go. Some men are longer than others, so I'm told by my girlfriend. Yeah, that's yes, no. Yeah, well, exactly. But we were just saying that one of the things. I mean, well, one of the other problems as well, of course, with scale creep, or just using models of different scales, is all right. That person may be taller than someone else, or might be shorter than them. But the musket and the pack and the Shako and everything else are all going to be the same size. So it looks, if some guy's got a musket that's say 1.5 inches long, giggity, and another one's got one that's only an inch only an inch long, then it's going to look silly. So that's why, So that's why I think you are best off trying to keep some some standard together for the size of your models, even if a little bit of variation is not necessarily the end of the world. Gruesome, probably my favourite figures to paint were Piano Minch's Old Guard Grenadiers. I painted hating the Waterloo starter set generals. My question is, what are your favourite to paint and the most annoying ones? My favourite to paint are French in greatcoats. So yeah, I really like those. The most annoying ones are joking aside, I do like the French. I can absolutely smash out French infantry now. The same with Brits as well. I do like the Brits actually. The thing I find with the Brits is the way I paint them is I'll paint them the whole of the model red, like the torso, and that includes the white lace that goes across the front. I know it's not lace, but the white strips that go across the front of the chest. And it's not until you bring those out and pick those out in white that the model really comes together. So I really like that part of doing British models. The other ones I really like are I really like Karazias, because they're really easy to paint, because the whole of the chest is just covered by I don't know what I was thinking then. The whole of the chest is just covered by the steel cuirass, and carabiners are the same as well. And then you've just got the arms and legs to do, basically. So I really, really like Karazias. Also, they're just awesome as well. Who doesn't love Karazias? The most annoying figures I've ever painted were probably the Victrix Chasseur à Cheval of the Guard, because ye gods, they took absolutely forever to paint. And it's not a problem with the figures. The figures are beautifully detailed, probably too detailed. But oh my lord alive, yeah, they took absolutely forever. I will never ever paint Chasseur à Cheval of the Guard ever again, except perhaps in Epic. But apart from that, I will never ever ever paint them ever again. And even when I do them in Epic, they're probably going to be the last regiment that I do, because oh good God alive, oh no, they were irritating. But lovely models. I'm not criticizing the models. Just yeah, there was just a lot of parts on them. What's going on here? Ugh. Valhallans for the win. Yeah, well, you see, I thought you'd think that, Zukov. I mean, that's that's not entirely surprising to me. I saw today someone has made epic scale Valhallans, and I have to say, even back as a kid when they first came out, the Valhallan Melter Gunner. If you're watching on your computers, open up a new tab and Google Valhallan Ice Warriors Melter Gun. He is one of my favorite Games Workshop models of all time. He was absolutely gorgeous. Had a real look of a veteran tank hunter about him, and someone's made him in epic scale. So I shall be downloading him later before he gets the band hammer comes down. 2mm full height for micro. Well, exactly. Yeah. Have I tried Valor and Fortitude? Not yet. No, I'm planning on keeping it back for my Franco-Prussian / Victorian thing. I probably will do Napoleon. I want to try Soldiers of Napoleon first, and I need to see James down at the club to sort a game of that out, because he's going to have to run me through it, because I am a bear of little brain, and I'm told it's quite crunchy actually. So I'm quite looking forward to giving that a go. Similar solution, same scale problem, just buy back as well. Absolutely, yeah, just buy from one manufacturer. The system is so extensive, I may get a small set for Melee era. We shall see. What system's that? Sorry, I'm just catching up. Is that Valor and Fortitude, or was that something else? You know me too. Hello, Woot. Finally catching on live. It's good to see you, buddy. We're just about to finish. No, I'm joking. We're not ready. We're going to run till 7. And then I'm also on cooking duty tonight as well. So, but those of you who were unsure, I've had a few questions. The Under Eagles to Glory 3-pack has been updated. No longer does it take place on February the 31st. Some guys got my deliberate joke there. Yeah, no. So no. I did send it to Boards and Sword, but he's probably not had chance to upload it yet, because he works the weekends. He has the middle of the week off. So I will get it on the Black Powder War Napoleonic page this evening, and then hopefully, if I'm 90% sure I've got the pack on my laptop. and then it will be up on the website hopefully at the weekend. So tickets have been selling pretty fitfully, actually. I think we've sold 6. Now, I've put a cap on it this year. I've capped it at 24 because I am going to I'm going to do more admin before the event this time. So by limiting the numbers, I can at least know exactly how many are coming before the event. So that's why. So yeah, if you are interested in Under Eagles to Glory 3, then please do get a ticket sooner rather than later. I am going to be plugging it for the next 5 months. So yeah, you've you got that to look forward to. So no, I'm joking. But no, seriously, it would be awesome for to see people there. I was thinking that were the channel to close, were I to stop doing these, I think the thing I would miss the most is the interaction with you guys, and a large part of that is Under Eagles to Glory, particularly the restaurant afterwards. It sounds silly, but it's just a really nice evening to get out and just hang out with like-minded people in a more relaxed environment. If you can't make the event, but you want to come to the dinner, then let me know. I'm sure we can facilitate that. And I don't want to hear no, I'm in America, it's too far, because I came to America for Adepticon, so there's no excuses there. The other thing I want to do is Ardacon in Australia, but that's for a future year. That one, I think, maybe when Farharad come back into Lord of the Rings, and I stop getting the sad on with them. They took away my camels, man. Can you believe? Can you believe that Games Workshop said no more camels? Absolutely disgraceful. So there we are. That's getting him done. We're actually crashing through these a lot quicker than I thought we would. This is good. Early Guard d'Honor and Bremen and Verdun Hussars are the easiest to paint as they are yellow. Oh yeah, yellow is super easy to paint. Although I do have my Imperial Fists, so I am not unused to painting yellow. I'm in Finland studying for my exams. Oh, okay. I mean, and I don't know. Well, actually, no, Gruesome. Your exams are far more important. You will have many years to come and marshal your troops to victory or defeat on the blood-soaked tables of Derby. So, why they've never done the Napoleonic sort of thing in Marengo, Mississippi? Yeah, that's true. Yeah. Yeah, no, you think they might do, mightn't you? So there's a lot of and sort of French officers and things like that went to the southern states of America after the war. I'm not sure how. Like, were they departments of France, or was it a separate colony or something? I don't really know how the French administered their empire, if I'm completely honest. I guess the locals just didn't. Yellows and cows. Oh, right, okay, yeah. After doing the Austrians, wouldn't you be tempted to buy white scars? Oh, yeah. I mean, absolutely. No, I actually was quite tempted to buy white scars once. I was going to do, because I'm a pathetic weeb, I was going to do samurai scars. They're all going to have sashimonos and stuff like that. They were going to be absolutely baller. And then Second Ed 30k came out, and the bikes were just so awful. I mean, beyond awful. They're not much better now. It's sad Raven Wing noises. I've got a massive Raven Wing army as well. But they were absolutely dire in Second Ed. So, yeah, so the Samurai Scars went on the back burner, and I just decided to buy a Samurai army instead. So there you go. I still got my Sashimonos, just on actual Samurai. And for years and years and years, I waited for Steel Fist Miniatures to have their transfers back in stock. So they came in stock. I must have dropped 50 quid on transfers, and they were absolutely dire. They really were very, very poor. Yeah, do not get Steel Fist miniatures transfers, guys. They are shockingly poor. To be honest, that put me off. That made me put down the Samurai project, and I've not really picked it up since. It was the disappointment of those transfers. I've just ordered some Ashigaru from Warlord Games in their sprue sale that they had a couple of weeks ago. I ordered a box worth of epic French of each of the 3 boxes, and I ordered I think 5 or 6 sprues of Ashigaru as well. Because I think the thing is with Warlord, as I said before, he definitely needs a dry brushing, that guy. As I said with Warlord before, I think some of their models are actually really nice. Now the Samurai aren't Warlord Games. They were, I'm looking at the box over here, War Games Factory originally, who were bought by Warlord Games. And their Samurai, which is the box that I'm looking at with some pike and shot guys, actually, their foot Samurai were absolutely appalling. Some of the worst models I've ever seen. Their mounted Samurai were a little bit better. Their Ashigaru were superb. So yeah, so I'm looking forward to getting those guys in the post. I might be getting some metals at Partisan as well to go with them. I'm feeling it for my Samurai a little bit at the moment. I'm just squirting out a little bit more white for this errant guy while I check the old. I think the probably local spring event is around that date, so running the French to the ground there. Well, fair enough, Ingrid. I'll let you off this once, buddy. I'll let you off, but I'll keep my eye on you. With drones making a mockery of camouflage. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. I started watching. You know what? Actually, Gruesome, you may have seen it because I think they are. Yeah, I think they are Finns, but I've seen like a video, and he's like, how to protect yourself on the battlefield against infrared. And yeah, it's crazy the stuff that they do. But I have to say, I mean, it's absolutely terrifying looking at I mean, I got out because I was just like, this is getting a bit silly now. But what they can do on the battlefield today is absolutely just, I mean, it's like Star Wars compared to, I mean, I left in 2004, so 20 years ago, and yeah, it's absolutely insane how much warfare has changed. I thought, well, don't worry, I was late starting. There are no ground bikes in place. They're not. Oh, right, okay. Blimey, yeah. Huh. I converted my original jet bikes out of Battlefleet Gothic cruisers. Now I realise I could have sold the cruisers for probably more than the more than the jet bikes were. I think Spaniards are the last Napoleonics I've played. Maybe cool in 18th century, Battle of Pensacola or whatnot, involving neither many British nor colonial America. Yeah, Spanish. I mean, Spanish are coolish, aren't they? I mean, you got to like the underdog, but Samurai. Last year I bought basically the full Perry range. So good someday. Absolutely. I'd love to see you paint some Samurai. Now that would be worth seeing. I'd love to do some 1809 Kingdom of Holland, one regiment, but not the whole army. Yeah, well, that's legitimate as well, Mike. I know the Perrys do 1809 Kingdom of Holland, so you could get a unit of those together fairly easily. Will I be doing an updated How to Start series? Yes, Rogue, I absolutely will. It was something I wanted to start doing this winter, and I probably will, to be honest. 3 Russian cannons from Warlord were 30 quid, now 51. Oh, Jesus Christ. Whew. Yeah, you can't. I couldn't justify that. I mean, before I was like, well, look, they're a little bit more expensive than the Perrys, but they're nice. But £51 for 3 cannons, no, thank you. No, dear, dear. Whew. Toba Fushimi would actually be a good war game. 1868, the decisive battle of the Boshin War. Is that the Satsuma Rebellion, or is that no? The Boshin Wars against? Yeah, is that the Satsuma Rebellion? I don't know. Got firearms aplenty, but sword and yari charge as well. Yeah, I love in the Last Samurai where they're like, oh yeah, he's a samurai traditionalist. He won't use firearms. He's like, what are you talking about? The samurai, everybody running around dual wielding stuff all the time. No. Those samurai were impossible to build. The same with the Wargames Family Skeletons. Yeah, absolutely. Which is a shame because I really like the sort of the Greek aesthetic of the skeletons. But yes, no, I've heard they were very, very hard to build. And also with the samurai as well. Now, when I bought them, I wasn't particularly clued into samurai warfare. I was like, it looks like they're wearing chainmail. So I painted it as chainmail with like sort of patches on. I was like, well, you know, they obviously had chainmail. I didn't think they did, but they obviously did. Well, it turns out they didn't. It's just the molding was absolutely terrible on them. So yes, no, War Games, Warlord, Samurai, which aren't really Warlord, so I don't blame them for them, but absolutely 100% avoid like the plague. The Ashigaru, fill your boots, go large because they're really really nice. The kneeling ones are a bit meh, but the standing up ones, fantastic, really really nice. You could even mix in some parries with them if you wanted to as well. So I bought the 10mm War Games Atlantic Samurai, really nice. Yes, I am going to. Yeah, the dude sounds like. Oh, the Swedes are they? All right, okay. So bought the 10mm. Yeah, I was going to get them for War Master. I've recently become absolutely obsessed with War Master since my tournament victory at Adepticon. So I was going to get them for a Nippon army, but yeah, no, they do look really nice, and the fact that they've done stuff like the Mako tent and the like the seated daimyos and all that stuff is just really really cool. But I think I'm going to buy. Is it War Games Atlantic that do 28mm Samurai as well? I think I'm going to buy their command set next week or a couple of weeks. So I quite look forward to getting hold of that as well. Satsuma Rebellion came later. All right, okay. Seigo Takamori was the Imperial commander at Toba Fushimi. I think. All right, okay. I shall check him out. I have 4 Warlord 12-pounders. Really nice crewmen, to be fair, to be expensive for now. Yeah, I really like them, Zukov. I think they are. As I said in the video, they're worth the extra money. When the extra money was like £1 or £1.50, but for an extra 20 quid over the Perry ones, I think Perry's are a tenner, aren't they? So you could get 2 more. You could get 5 cannons for the price of 3. I don't think they're. Yeah, that's a lot. Fireforge, thank you, Dead End. Fireforge has 28mm fire. That's what I was thinking of. I bought some of their Teutonic Knights many years ago, and they were not good. But their later models have come out really nice. Painting done, tomorrow washers. That's fantastic. That's what we like to hear. That's good. Now, I am just looking at the time. I'm looking at the little pile of eye ties in front of me. What have I got? I got 1, 2. Let me just do the back of his musket. There we are. 3, 4, 5. 6 left. Right, okay, let's get these 6 done. And then I think we're going to knock it on the head. Well, we've got 7 minutes. So I got plenty of time to get these 6 muskets. And also, it's getting really dark in here. So I think from next week, I'm going to have to put the light on before we get started. But no, I was very, very late getting in today. So cracking on with these. Now, these are the ones I tried to do the plastrons on the front of the thing. I'm pretty pleased with them, actually. I think they're looking pretty. He's looking pretty sweet. I think once we do the flesh and the black in particular, it's going to make that red really pop. So yeah, he's looking pretty sweet. But yeah, the nights are definitely drawing in. I had to take my umbrella to work with me today. That was And so we need it. We need the rain. So can't complain too much. One thing I should say just quickly before we go as well. I don't know if Paul, my brother, if he's still in the chat. He was earlier on. But for my birthday last year, so my birthday is in November. So it was either my birthday or Christmas. I can't remember which. He said, "Yeah, I'm going to get you tickets for a virtual reality Space Marine experience." And I'll be honest, I was a little bit like, "Oh, okay." I didn't really know what to expect from it, so I was like, "All right, okay." Well, last weekend we went over to Manchester and we did the virtual reality. So basically, you land on a planet like a hive planet. It's been overrun by Tyranids, and you've got to find the MacGuffin and kill the Tyranids, basically. And it was really, really good fun. We had like the headsets on, and we were in like a big sort of like it was almost like a five-a-side football pitch, like a half-sized one. And there were four of us, and we had to sort of like walk around and shoot and things like that. It was really, really good fun. Really enjoyed it. So if you get a chance, there's one in Nottingham as well. So if you want to do something a little bit different, the VR Space Marine experience was pretty good. It was 40 minutes, I think it was 45 minutes, and it was 25 quid. So it wasn't super cheap, but I also felt as well by the time I'd sort of worked out what I was doing, that probably took about 20 minutes. So, but yeah, no, it was really, really good fun. Really enjoyed it. So would recommend that to people. Rex's roleplay, just starting point at French for 1813 to 14, coming over from Victorian period. Well, I'm going the other way. Can I recommend a guide for uniforms in that period, book or blog? Well, yes, to put it quite succinctly. A guide for uniforms. So the best one that you're going to get is the Osprey Men at Arms series, but they can be quite expensive because they're about £10 each, and they often focus on specific things. So it depends on what army you're doing, but whatever army it is, they will have books on it. I would recommend that for argument's sake, did you say you're doing French? Sorry, you didn't know. Let's say you're doing Russians as an example. They'll do a book on the Russian infantry, so I'd probably get those. But everything else, I probably would go for. There's one. No. Yeah, no, hang on. There is it. Yeah, was it? So there's a series called The Uniforms of. They're about 25 quid. They're hardback. There's one of the Colonial Wars, so you might already have that one. But it's the Uniforms of the Napoleonic Wars. Now, one of the things that people have complained about is that there's no picture of French line infantry in there. But honestly, if you're after pictures of like troops like that, I honestly think the best thing is Google. Just Google images. Google. I mean, I've got it up there. I've got Italian Napoleonic uniforms. Google images now, and I've got line. I've got grenadiers. I've got light infantry. I've got light infantry in bicorns. Light infantry in shakos. I've got flags. I've got some dude in like a turned up hat. I don't know where he's from. I've got dragoons scrolling down now. I've got dudes in blue uniforms. I suspect they're not Napoleonic, unless they're like they might be from Naples. I've got a guide to all of the cavalry units and the color of their. Well, that's Naples again. So yeah, no, Google is a really, really useful tool. For what was the other question you had? A blog, yes. It's a blog that I use a lot. It's called Blunders on the Danube. Now, there's Thunder on the Danube is quite a famous. I think there's 4 parts to it about the 1809 campaign. So he's obviously taken that and changed it to Blunder on the Danube. Now, I will say, and I don't want to be mean, his painting is very old style, shall we say? So it's a lot of enamels, a lot of sort of one coat, very shiny, stuff like that. So there's nothing necessarily wrong with that per se, but he ain't going to win any golden demons. But what he is going to win is the heart and affection of the whole community, because his his blog is ridiculously comprehensive. It's a really, really good one. So I would Google blunders on the Danube, and I would bookmark that page. I would favorite it or whatever it is you do to make sure you can keep going back to it. You're doing the French, yeah. I mean, so yeah, I would go with that. You can also look at a website called Mont Saint Jean, which is more to do with the 100 Days campaign, as the name would suggest. But there's not that many uniform differences between 18, 13, 14 and the and Waterloo, so you should be okay. Yeah, that is a lot, Rogue. That is a hell of a lot. So I got a large lot of French metals used and trying to make sense of them. 130 so figures. Okay, yeah. So you probably want to go for units of 24. So you've got 4 or 5 units there. That's pretty good going. And just look silly next. I tell you, they could be like battalion guns. So yeah, no, I think for something like that, you probably take a look at my getting started French video, and probably my from company to core video. Those would be the 2 that I'd recommend. But yeah, check out Blunder on the Danube. That's a that's a great site. Well, guys, it has gone 7 o'clock. Those prices are absolutely shocking. I can't believe they're that much. And because they're metal, they're not going to be in the sale either, are they? So, that is a lot. But I want to say thank you very much for joining me today. Sorry for the late start. I will be doing a video this weekend, and I will hope to see you guys next Wednesday. We are unfortunately in October, so we are rapidly running out of Wednesdays and daylight, for that matter. So we've got 4 left after today. So I hope you'll join me for the next one as the Italians begin their march to being painted. And I hope to see you guys then. Have a great week, and I'll see you next time. Cheers. Thank you, Houston. Cheers.